Hi there. I hope the writing has gone really well, and I'm looking forward to reading some of your work. I have posted on my website, and I've sent the link to your teacher, an editorial checklist. And I just want to go through it with you so that you know some things about editing. Firstly, editing is part of the job. There is no way that you can write something first time beautifully, perfectly, unless you are magic. It just doesn't happen like that. My picture book, which is maybe 650 words long, I had to write at least 300 times. So that's writing and rewriting and cutting and considering again from a whole different angle. So as you go through the editorial checklist, don't feel bad. Don't feel like this means your work wasn't good enough in the first place. Just understand this is how a writer writes. This is how you make your work stronger. And this is how you make it the best it can be. The first thing you're going to do is read through and try and get an overall sense of the piece. Does it flow? Is it consistent? You can read it through to yourself in your head, or you can do what I suggest at the end of the checklist, which is to read it out loud. You're going to do this more than once, but reading out loud is a really good way to give you a sense of the way the piece works to someone else. Like, you're reading it out loud and you kind of hear it differently. It's not the same as when you read in your head and you think, oh, hang on, now I hear that. Perhaps it could be different because I can kind of sense it in a different way. You're going to start thinking about more technical things. Does the first line make you want to keep reading? Does the next? Does the one after? Is the whole poem moving forward? Is it consistent? Does tons happen at the beginning and nothing happen at the end? Does the piece have loads of action and then a big quiet patch? Is it compelling and pacey, the same voice all the way through, or does it start really funny and end up really sad? Is that what you wanted? Think about the premise. The whole piece, is it as original as it could be? Would a little tweak make it more original? Let's say you've tried to write something similar to the film The Martian. Great film. Lots of people love that story. The guy gets left on Mars. What if the guy was a girl? Or what if he was left on a different type of planet? What if there were other creatures there? Are there ways to change the premise to make it your own? Does enough happen to keep the reader engaged? Is there a long, boring bit in the middle? Could that be cut? Then start to look at the line-by-line stuff. Have you used the same word over and over again? Is there a word that you as a person happen to like that keeps appearing in the piece? For me, the word tummy is one that I use a lot in my writing. I don't know why, it's kind of embarrassing. But what I have to do is look through after I finished a piece and cut the number of times I use the word tummy. Weird but true. Are there other repetitions or moments that your text could be stronger? Is there a better word? Is there a stronger word that would say what the word you're using is saying? Let's say you use run. What if you used hurried? And again, as you're looking at that, think about stronger verbs all the time. Are there ways to take out adverbs? So running quickly could be done as hurried or rushed or raced. Or walking slowly could be tiptoed or meandered. Think about every single sentence, and that might sound boring or hard work, but it is hard work. Writing a book or a story or a piece shouldn't be easy, and if it is, then that's great, but that means perhaps you could push yourself in the editorial even further. Notice every single sentence. Does it do everything it can? Could it be cut? And this moves us into thinking about how you could tighten the whole piece by about 10%. If you cut about 10% of the text, would it still be as strong? Then what you're going to do is look at overlong sentences, clunky sentences, tighten up any places where you could just move two sentences into one or one sentence into two. And then you're going to read it aloud again. And by reading it aloud again, you may find yourself back at the beginning of the editorial checklist. You may find that you need to start over and edit again. That's what happens to me. I improve it, make it stronger, and then suddenly realize when I've got to the end that by doing that, I noticed some other things I could make better too. One last thing. Notice your speech. Look at the dialogue that you've used and notice if the punctuation of the dialogue could be tighter, if it's correct. It's fiddly, but I'm pretty sure when I come to see you guys and start editing your work, that's going to be something that is definitely possible to be improved. That's not just you. There is no writer I know, adult or kid, who is emerging and aspiring and who has sent me work who hasn't had mistakes in their speech and in their writing of speech. I used to do it too. It's really hard to punctuate speech. So just look through and make sure your dialogue and the punctuation of it is as strong as it can be. I've got the checklist, as I said, online for you. I will send the link to you and I really look forward to coming in and seeing your work. It's been fun making the videos for you, but I bet it's going to be a lot more fun actually meeting you guys.